All right, let's call this meeting to order, regular session of the City Council, January 4th, 2024. It's 6 p.m. and we're at the Oak Ridge City Hall. First order of business is to pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. See, Jackie's online. If she could call the roll, please.
Councillor Coker,
Here.
Councillor Bjornson,
Here.
Councillor Tarman,
Here.
Councillor Brewer,
Here.
Mayor Cutchin,
Here.
Councillor Kenyon,
Here.
Councillor Hollett.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Next is item 4, which is additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda. I believe you have something, James, for us.
Yes, Mayor, table item 11.1. Error that was supposed to be saved for our next meeting on the 18th.
Okay, we'll table 11.1 to 118. Any councilors have any recommended changes to the agenda? All right, I have none, nothing heard from anyone else. Public comment, so we'll start in the room. Is there any public comment in the room? Ms. Hammond?
Hammond, Oak Ridge. I'd like to just set things up first, we don't pass to each other. I've been really super busy with rescues. The first one was 10 dogs, which were abandoned out in the forest, just outside of Oak Ridge. And sadly, the 5 and the mama dog, they survived, but 3 died, and 1 was rehomed, and another one was in custody, remained in custody. The others are here. There's 2 dogs down at the river that got rescued today. And with the help of OPD and our city administrator, those dogs are now safe and in a warm spot. The other picture that's there, that used to be my granny's trailer. And in that yard posts blue healers that allegedly recently had puppies, and their only shelter is to go underneath that trailer. There's huge rats that are now accommodating that space as well. Those are going to trickle through this neighborhood like nothing flat. You know, bridge is that big, it's going to hit everybody. So that's what some of the work that I've been doing. So I've got to bring my timer for a little. But I noticed also in the packet that you guys received was the League of Working Cities, where it deals with substance abuse and addiction. And so I'm wondering, as it states, expansion of existing juvenile and adult substance use disorder inpatient and outpatient treatment facilities. I'm kind of wondering, there's nothing in here that states, you know, what's going to happen with the animals when, and we have a lot of drug addicted and individuals that could use this service. So I'm hoping to offer my program as a place for these animals, for these owners who are drug addicted. They are getting help. They're willing to make changes. I'm willing to help them get a lift up. The pit bull puppy in that picture is, I'm providing free boarding for that dog. The other one was the German Shepherd that is actually surrendered now. They're both under 2 years old, not vaccinated and not spayed. This is what contributes to the overcrowding population in shelters, is when we don't have anybody to stand on to enforce the neglect and the abuse of the animals in this community. So what I'm hoping for is that somehow in this budget 2024 season that we can find some money to implement animal services. The other thing is there's a significant need in our communities for residential and secure residential facilities for those experiencing mental health and substance abuse challenges across our state. I again will offer my program to be able to house these dogs for individuals with mental health issues, should they need to get some assistance so they can keep their animals. It's not my goal to separate people from their animals. It's my goal to get the people the help that they need and the safety for the animals that are in need as well. But what I'm really frustrated about is how my hands are tied because I cannot trespass on private property. I cannot get a spot of dirt identified as whose jurisdiction it is. And it's really frustrating because I'm trying to reach out to the appropriate entities to help me get these dogs into a safe space. And out of the abuse and neglect that they could be enduring. So I hope that this city of Oak Ridge, that you guys all get together and find some money together to help with animal services. The IGA that used to be in place of Green Hill.
30 seconds.
Huh?
30 seconds. When you take your time.
Okay, the yes, the IGA. I'm hoping that Green Hill relationship can get renewed. And then I'm hoping also there's so many other rescues that are going to work with me. I know that we can nip this in the bud. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. James, before we go on, a citizen kind of texted me and said the sound is brassy and has an echo. I don't know if there's anything we can do on the spot, but if you want to try.
Hey, this is Counselor Bjornson. Just for info, my audio is sounding just fine, so it might be a different issue.
And this is citizen Jason Niemer, and it's sounding fine as well.
And it sounds okay to me now too. This is Sissy Cutchin.
My name is Ashley Levin, and I would like to speak up.
James, this is Counselor Coker. If you can hear me, we've lost all visual and sound.
You know, we have a
The train.
Counselor Coker, can you hear us or see us now?
Yes, you guys are back now.
And the sound's good?
Yes, it is. It's clear.
Thank you. James, I don't know if you want to follow up with Chief Martin on Mr. Allen's comments about that, but if
Yeah, I can do that, but it's, I can tell you that it's true if you need to register donors.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Any other comments either online or in the room before we move on?
This is Ashley Clement. I would actually like to donate time to Trudy to let her talk.
Okay. Do you know Ashley, Trudy? No.
But I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you want to leave your name with City Hall, I'm sure that City Hall can get it to Ms. Hammond.
No, I think she said she wanted to
Donate 3 minutes.
for-
Oh, 3 minutes? Do you have more to say, Ms. Hammond? I don't know that we need to do donations here, but there'll be time at the end if you,
Donation was for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We have a past practice of that,
Yeah, we do.
longstanding.
not a very good practice, but you can either do it since it's that's the accepted majority here. We'll either do it now or you can wait till the end of the meeting.
But if I could, I'd just like to squeeze in a few more points because then I gotta get back to the animals.
I understand.
So, and also then I was wondering also if there's any possible way that we can make it an agreement with my program with the city of Oak Ridge. I'm open to that. I don't know what the steps are, or what the process is for building a relationship, but I'd like to try again to pick up where we left off. I think it was before COVID, and see if I can be more assistance for the police officers when they get animal calls. And they don't want to be distracted to, I'm sorry, I know this is really,
No, I understand.
it's just a little bit distracting though, because I'm concerned about your agenda as well. And I really want you guys to just think about it and try to put some kind of focus for the animal services in Oak Ridge, because the community is hungry for it. We're willing to work together. So we'll work together with the city as well. And then we've got a great huge collaborative community unity.
Well,
Thank you, actually.
I'd recommend starting with the city administrator who develops the budget, if that's what you're, and if you're interested in having seen some money being attributed to that, he'd be the place to start with.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Maybe back to me right now.
And to follow up my comment about the 3 minutes, the reason I don't really like that idea of donating minutes is ostensibly you could have someone get up and speak for about 3 hours. If you did that, every citizen could donate their 3 minutes. So stick with the 3 minutes and say what you have to say. All right. Next is mayor comments, announcements, proclamations. So first, there's still an open survey, and it's concerning smoke and air quality community survey that's being done by Oak Ridge Air and partnered with the University of Oregon to get experiences with air quality. As you know, we're a targeted airshed, so it's pretty important that we get good information. If you're willing to do the survey, either you can pick up one here or do it online and get a $25 gift certificate to Walmart or the pub across the street. So I encourage you to do that. Next, there's a opportunity to provide input for the wildlife reduction plans for Dead Mountain, Aubrey Ridge, and Kitson Ridge. So we've gotten some grant money, or at least Oak Ridge Air has. We're doing inside city limits, right, James?
And you may have accidentally said wildlife unless I misheard.
Wildfire, sorry, yes. For wildfire, essentially they look at ways to reduce the amount of fuels that are on the ground, so less risk of fire. That's going to be at East Oak Ridge Open House Wednesday, January 10th, 5:30 to 7. And that's going to be held at the OIP office. So if you have input there, please come on by and give it, or you can call Oak Ridge Air and provide it that way. Other than that, I think that's all the comments. I do have the state of the city. So if we could get comfortable. This is an annual thing. Mayor gives state of the city. how they saw the past year go and how they see what they see looking forward as far as challenges. So first thing I like to do is wish all the citizens of Oak Ridge a happy 2024. 2023 was productive for the city, but there's much more to do in the coming year. Before I get to those challenges, I want to highlight some of the work and accomplishments that your elected officials, volunteers, and staff have done. Since this is the one-year mark that this council was seated, unfortunately, 2 city councilors have had to resign due to personal reasons, so those seats are being filled by individuals appointed by the city council. These seats will be filled at the next general election in November this year, so I encourage any interested citizens to consider running for the 4 open seats. I'm convinced that the more choices the citizens have on the ballot, the better the outcome. So I consider one of the measures of an effective council is attendance. City council met 32 times in regular, special, and work sessions. Since January 2023, the attendance record has been 85%, meaning there were 33 total absences during these meetings for the year. This does not include absences created when 2 councilors resigned and before the appointees were seated. This does include those absences when the 2 councilors resigned and before the appointees were seated. I know conflicts sometimes occur, but I do believe we can do better this next year. Another measure I value is the output of the city council, or what work was accomplished. Your city council adopted 18 resolutions and 4 ordinances in 2023, along with many more motions addressing critical issues. So the volunteerism over the past year has been outstanding. First, our committees are nearly filled with citizen representatives. Of the 55 total seats available across all communities, excluding the subcommittees, which I have no defined number of seats, only 11 are vacant. In the past, there have been many more vacancies, with some committees not even having enough members to constitute a quorum. This is no longer the case. The Parks and Services Committee and Community Services Committee and the Library Board and the Oak Ridge Economic Development Advisory Committee are fully staffed with citizen volunteers. All these committees are doing important and valuable work, bringing well thought out recommendations to the City Council for policy implementation. And volunteers play key roles in supporting city initiatives such as staffing the Oak Ridge Public Library and the Oak Ridge Warming Center during their winter months. So I'd now like to recognize the significant efforts of your city staff, beginning with our public safety departments. For the Oak Ridge Police Department, in the normal course of duties this year, OPD was responsible for 2 life-saving events. In addition to their patrol duties, OPD performs mutual aid, performing emergency backup to Forest Service law enforcement, Lane County Sheriff, Department of Fish and Wildlife, Oregon State Patrol, federal agencies, and the Union Pacific Railroad personnel, security personnel in our area. As the name implies, this mutual aid flows both ways with these organizations, backing up OPD when needed. An excellent example of the aid was demonstrated when OPD assisted county, state, and federal agency as needed during the Bedrock and Salmon fires. OPD took the initiative to improve communication with the Lane County District Attorney's Office, which has resulted in more felony convictions. OPD also partnered with the Lane County Sheriff's Office to receive de-escalation training. Our officers also received training in leadership, code enforcement, traffic safety, and emergency medical response and animal control. OPD partners with Lane County Regional Air Protection Agency to increase compliance with the targeted airshed requirements surrounding air quality improvement. This year marks the first which the area has reached attainment regarding particulate matter levels in the atmosphere. An important element of our police department is the reserve program. We currently maintain 2 reserve lieutenants on staff who together have contributed over 1,000 hours of service this year. They also provided security at local events during the Bus Fair, Blackberry Jam, Go Beyond Racing, and the Tree Planting Festival Parade. OPD has strong community engagement this year, supporting or hosting National Night Out, Fall Fun Night, Shop with a Cop, Coffee with a Cop, Basketball Sundays, and acts as the charter organization for the local Boy Scouts to keep this important program running in Oak Ridge. Officers also make individual contributions to the community, like the generous personal donation of building materials by Officer Valerie Miller to a local family. Your police chief, Kevin Martin, serves as the District 8 representative for the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police. These duties included a visit to Washington, D.C. to meet with the Oregon congressional delegation this year. On to the Oak Ridge Fire and EMS Department. Under the leadership of Chief Scott Hollett, the department has undergone significant facility improvements including all new flooring and updates to the front office and training room, a Promethean monitor for training, a new emergency generator, network upgrade, new low-cost VoIP or VoIP phone system, exterior electronic door locking system, new beds, mattresses, and desk and wardrobes in the dorm rooms. New equipment includes a refurbished Zoll X series monitor, a new extrication tools leveraging Hazel Rural Fire Department or Fire District funds. They budgeted for an updated rescue vehicle and an updated command vehicle, and a grant funded a $400,000 Type 3 engine, which is coming our way soon. For training, the department hosted numerous training events, including a regional pre-hospital trauma life support, advanced cardiac life support, and pediatric life support classes, a regional first 5-minute fire training class, an EMR class with community volunteers, as well as our police officers. The paid staff and volunteers have attended multiple advanced level classes outside the department. For operations, the department was awarded 2 grants, one for fire season upstaffing, and other for fuels mitigation for rural addressing. OFD has improved volunteer numbers utilizing recruitment drives and improved part-time staff numbers, resulting in less overtime for full-time staff. They also completed a year-long data collection and reported for a mandated Medicare study. The project was completed in-house, which saved the city approximately $23,000. With the assistance of our new physical advisor, OFD now has some of the most progressive EMS patient care protocols in Lane County. OFD received for the 3rd time the STEMI Award from Peace Health for the fastest door to balloon tank. The department passed the Oregon Health Authority inspection of the ambulance service. For fire prevention and community involvement, the department participated in numerous community engagement activities, including the first ever open house for the Hazel Rural Fire Protection District. Fire prevention activities for homeschoolers, prevention activities at the Oak Ridge Elementary School, recruitment booth at multiple community events, multiple community CPR classes, and installed approximately 100 smoke alarms for citizens. They also supported community events such as the Tree Planting Festival Parade, 4th of July Festival, Pancake Breakfast, Veterans Day Breakfast, Breakfast with Santa, Lighted Holiday Parade, and Festival of Lights. Now on to Public Works. Led by Robert Chrisman, in 2023, your small yet hardworking public works crew successfully repaired 24 water leaks, 140 locates, some of which take a whole day with 2 workers, 275 service orders, and distributed 240 gallons of water. Their efforts resulted in the department being recognized by an Outstanding Performance Award from the Oregon Health Authority. On top of that, they did not see one single hit on any of our water samples for the entire calendar year. In the month of October, we had an unrepairable water leak, which led us to making a new tap and laying over 900 feet of brand new 2-inch water line to make sure our residents had adequate water pressure as well as volume. This happened to coincide with the Cherry Street project, turning the street from one of our worst streets to one of our best, and taxing the public works workforce at the same time. Infrastructure during 2023, significant structure improvements were made. All of our pressure relief valves were serviced, and well 2 was rebuilt. This is our biggest producer, and this work was a significant accomplishment from a distribution standpoint, going from a production of 400 gallons a minute to 700 gallons a minute. In addition, the department prepped 2 locations for brand new FEMA-funded generators, one at the fire department, as I previously stated, which now makes the fire department a full-service emergency response location. And the other generator was attached to a wastewater lift station, which did not have that before. The bathrooms at Green Waters Park and the rest area are susceptible to vandalism, but thanks to our part-time employees that work for Public Works, they were able to give both bathrooms a facelift. On the wastewater side, the team has been through some personnel changes, saying goodbye to Jackson Stone, who retired after 8 years of outstanding service at the plant. We welcome Isaiah and Bob to the team, and they quickly picked up the needed expertise to be successful. The process of ensuring wastewater treatment, which meets state and federal regulations, is daunting. And the Oak Ridge team, led by Clint Whitney, have been complying with the complex regulations imposed by the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, having received 0 fines or penalties. And the most important accomplishments achieved by Public Works was a perfect safety record for 2023. To top off that record, the entire department became CPR certified and heat index certified. On to administration and finance. Led by City Administrator James Clevenger and Finance Director Colleen Shirley, the department has been working diligently. Specifically, the team has submitted and been awarded numerous grants leveraging partnerships with local nonprofits, volunteers, and others to assist. Accounts payable and accounts receivable are continuously improving, making an antiquated financial accounting software work. Thankfully, this will soon be made much easier as the city transitions to the new Cassell government accounting software system, which should bring us up to the current standard. Jackie and Leah continue to be the mainstay of the department, providing outstanding customer service daily. The municipal court, Judge Segura and Wendy continue to skillfully manage the municipal court, a very necessary part of the law enforcement system in this rural city. A complex and time-consuming effort, their efforts often go unappreciated by many behind the scenes, but know that without an Oak Ridge Municipal Court, law enforcement will be very negatively impacted. In the Oak Ridge Public Library, headed up by Georgie Samuelson and an outstanding team of volunteers, create a warm and welcoming environment for the citizens of Oak Ridge. Through grants awards, the library has been able to purchase children's books, install off-site book drop, change the lighting from fluorescent to LED, purchase new patron use computers and new staff computers. Also, through contact with Senator Wyden, the library was able to obtain Library of Congress surplus books. Also, through the contract with Literary Arts, they were able to get copies of the 2024 Oregon Book Award finalist books. But most importantly, the team at the library has been able to keep their published hours and have had minimal closures due to lack of staffing, another testament to the dedication of the great volunteers here in the city. Despite all these notable accomplishments, challenges still exist, so let's dive in. First and foremost are the emergency medical services that the fire department provides to a large area of Lane County. These ambulance services were originally designed to operate at cost neutral or nearly so, using revenues from private insurance, Medicare, and Medicaid to cover personnel, capital, and operating costs. This is not the case for the Oak Ridge Fire Department or many other EMS providers nationwide. The staffing requirements of operating an ambulance drives the largest budget item in the OFD budget, personnel costs, which include wages, overtime, contracted labor, and volunteer stipends. These staffing expenses, when included with medical, and result in an estimated $450,000 deficit in operating the ambulance. This assumes a much reduced staffing requirement at OFD if their responsibility was reduced to fire response only. A demonstration of this is reflected in the 27% increase in the fire department budgets since the fiscal year 21-22 budget. I'm strongly committed to a quick response ambulance service for the citizens of Oak Ridge. However, the current situation is fiscally unsustainable. The staff and the city council must work with our county and fire EMS partners to find a resolution. This issue will be further exacerbated when the public safety fee expires on June 30th, 2024. The second financial issue that's facing the city is the going concern called out by the city auditor in the fiscal year 21-22 audit. This going concern was over the government financial condition, imbalance of shared costs using restricted and committed funds for unintended purposes, and non-compliance with the Oregon minimum standards requirements. Most glaring was the fact the ending balances in the general fund for the years 2020, 2021, and 2022, if you subtract restricted and committed funds, were zero. Unfortunately, due to a poor choice of a former auditor, we were behind on audits, and we've been anxiously awaiting the fiscal year 22-23 audit due in December 2023 by our new auditor to reconvene the budget committee once we have a current picture of the city's fiscal condition. Significant changes might be needed to be made to the current budget through the supplemental budget process. I'm also concerned with the city's aging infrastructure and our recapitalization plans. While the city staff to date has done what they can do to shore up this infrastructure through extraordinary efforts, little has been set aside for catastrophic failures which could cripple the service to our citizens. We need to commission a master water and wastewater plan which defines our intended future for these systems and how we can save to afford those upgrades. Once we have a clear financial picture, as referred to previously, the staff can get to the business of planning for the future. I'm also disappointed the American Rescue Plan Act grant funding did not address more of the infrastructure needs of the city. Our personnel cost increases outpace all other appropriations. The combined increases of COLAs, step increases, seasonal workers, stipend raises, and additional hiring all results in skyrocketing personnel budgets. While I understand the need to retain the talented people we have on board and how that drives the need for better benefits, offsets must be found for these increases unless we find additional revenue that can cover them. But these challenges, all these challenges can be overcome. So let's buckle down, approach the challenges looking for a positive solution, and work hard to bring the city where it needs to be. In closing, I'm encouraged by the forward momentum in our community. This can be seen by an increase in business entering the city, by the focus on the arts, and by a commitment of our citizens to improve the appearance and condition of the city where they can. And younger people are engaged in the community and in local government. They will be the future of Oak Ridge. I look forward to a positive and successful 2024 for all of Oak Ridge. Thank you, and once again, Happy New Year. Thank you. All right, moving on to council comments and announcements. Any councilors' comments, announcements? Online? No? Okay. Item 8 is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion as amended by James? The minutes as amended by James, sorry.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Tarman. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 9, 9.1, James.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, speaking of the budget, last year, at our first meeting in January, we appointed the budget officer for the current fiscal year. So I'm proposing we do the same this year. The budget officer for fiscal year 24-25. First budget season will start in late March, early April.
Okay, do I hear a motion on this? Okay,
I move that we appoint the city administrator to serve as the city's budget officer for fiscal year 24-25.
I'll second.
okay, we'll give it to Councilor Hollett. Motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Hollett. Discussion, questions of staff on this? Councilor Kenyon, please.
James, on the budget last year, there was a lot of struggles with the timing. I'm wondering if you're confident that you'll be able to keep us on track with our time this year.
I think so. I think we do budgeting software. Speaking, right, Colleen?
We're working on that.
Yeah. But that's why we started early last year, earlier in most cities.
Thank you.
When do you expect the calendar to be published, the budget calendar?
Probably February.
Any other discussion? Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Councillor Coker,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Councillor Brewer.
Aye.
Councillor Tarman,
Aye.
Councillor Hollett,
Aye.
Councillor Bjornson,
Aye.
Councillor Kenyon,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On to item 10, 10.1 is the 2023 City Award winners. James, how do you want to do this?
I just wanted to give public recognition, or I can hand it over to you to do so.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We had the award ceremony, and the awards were donated by Matt Burney, one of our local business folks, and actually he was one of the candidates, I believe.
I think he was on.
Yep.
Oh.
But for the City of Oak Ridge 2023 Employee of the Year, that was Officer Valerie Miller with the Police Department. For the Citizen of the Year, that was Bev McCulley, who helps out with our food box. or actually runs the food box, doesn't help out. The 2023 committee member of the year, that was Jason Niemer, and I believe he's online. Congratulations, Jason. The new business of the year was Sweetfine. The nonprofit of the year was the South Willamette Forest Collaborative and South Willamette Solutions. They're attached at the hip. Business leader of the year was Vanessa Tharp of Vanessa Tharp Consulting. So congratulations to all those folks.
If I may
Yeah,
add one
please.
thing, I won't go through the nominations for all these awards, but they are listed on the website. But I did want to publicly acknowledge the nominees for Employee of the Year, because each department had nominated someone from their department, and I think they should be recognized. So obviously, Officer Valerie Miller was the overall winner, but Clint Whitney of Public Works was nominated from that department. Leah Brewer was nominated from City Hall staff, and Eric Kigden from the Fire Department was nominated from that.
And I'd like to thank the counselors that did so much in preparation for this. And I believe that was Counselor Kenyon, Hollett, and Brewer, all contributed their time to make that a success as well. I'm sure James was intimately involved with that. So thanks. All right, moving on to 10.2. That's the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club RTMP funding request for Mountain Town Throwdown. James?
Mayor. All right, so the Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club, President Jason Niemer, who is available online. They have requested up to $2,750 in RTMP funds for the 2024 Mountain Town Throwdown Tournament on May 11th to 12th this year. The RTMP TRT committee met on December 12th and has recommended that council approve up to $2,500 in RTMP funds for this event, as that is the maximum normally allowed under the program, unless of course council makes a special exception to go over that amount. And just today, we received $31,396 in RTMP funds for 2024 year. That's substantially higher than in years past, and it's kind of a one-off. The state had been handling it, and they kind of built up a reserve on our behalf that we didn't know about. The county has decided now that they're handling it to give us that reserve this week. Earned it,
Backwards.
but we can't expect that every week.
You're saying it backwards. The county did it for years and now it's the state.
Well, we're getting the money from, the check says Lane
Yeah.
County on it, and it's from Dan Cusimano of Lane County, so.
Yeah, I actually talked to her today about it. It was supposed to go to the state, but it's actually now being redistributed back through the county again.
Okay.
Yeah, I was curious myself.
Well, we got more money this year,
Yay.
but it's not gonna stay that high, but it'll be 20,000 something estimated. 2025.
Sure.
Okay, so I hear a motion on this.
Make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve up to $2,500 in RTMP funds for the 2024 Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club Mountain Town Throwdown Tournament.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Kenyon. Any further discussion or questions of James on this or of Jason?
I have a
Good.
couple of questions.
Yeah.
Is Jason on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It says on your application, I'm new to your event. I know that you've received the RTMP funds in the past, but it states that you put on the application that it's a travel package. And so I was wondering what kind of package are you offering to your clientele?
Yeah, we're working with Travel Lane County on this one. They're promoting it through hotels and it's hotels, really, lodging. So that's kind of the travel package, just the time working with the Cascades Coast Sports Commission with JB and Connor.
Okay, and one more question. It says in here that you are offering discounts for the local hotels and motels. Says you have a promotion that will consist of offering discounts in local hotels and motels to tournament players. Do you already have some of the local hotels and motels signed up for discount packages through your event?
Yeah, they're working on the site for it. It's basically a like I said, Eugene, the Coast to Cascades Sports Commission works on a promotional package that offers discounts to the players through tournament registration.
But are they for the Oak Ridge Hotel Motel?
Correct. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, Westbury Lodge, Oak Ridge Hotel, Blue Wolf, yeah, stuff like that. Yep, Cascade Lodge.
And I saw in the past year, so you had around 84 players participate. Is that what you're expecting this year, or more, or less?
It would be great to have more, but we'll see. You know, it's kind of a crapshoot that way, depending on what's going on with weather and whatnot. And that's a good time of year. So usually winter and rain kind of go away at that point, and we can get going on this and get some good weather for it. But yeah, I'm thinking this is our 3rd year doing this, and for the Mountain Town Throwdown, and yeah, we're established as a tournament in the region, and people look forward to it, so that helps.
That's awesome. I hope you have great weather.
Any other questions?
Really took my question. You good?
You do? Oh, you asked the right ones?
I did.
James, and this is on a reimbursable basis, is that right?
Correct. So
Yeah.
they actually approved us that they spent.
So they have to have a little bit of money up front in order to make it happen. Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, Jackie, would you call for a vote, please? I'm sorry, Jackie, let me, just because there's a variable here in the possible motions. The recommended motion was to approve up to $2,500 in RTMP funds for the 2024 Oak Ridge Disc Golf Club Mountain Town Throwdown Tournament. Jackie?
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Mayor Kitchen,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. On to 10.3, that's the Oak Ridge Airport Grant Letter of Support. James?
All right, the Oregon Department of Aviation is applying for a large federal grant to improve the Oak Ridge Airport. And we've discussed this before, that the runway is just in terrible shape. That's going to be part of this grant ask. Extend the life of the runway and also increase the firefighting capabilities at the airport. They are requesting letter of support from us. They've also asked the school district already has their letter done. And so this letter, draft of which attached in the packet, by myself and the mayor, approved by the council.
I just add, this is a very early on in this process. This is just an application to apply for a grant from the federal government, which is, we know, challenging. And should it be approved, I'm certain that they would have to go through land use type evolutions as well as airspace use, which would allow for public comment. I know there's some concerns in the community about the ability to comment on this. While the airport is outside Oak Ridge city limits and owned by the state of Oregon, it would still be an opportunity to have a public comment regardless of where you're living. So,
May I clarify something?
yes.
Is that something that we would provide public comment time for, or is that at a different level?
Since the airport's owned by the Oregon Department of Aviation, they would be on the hook to administrate that project, and I'm sure whoever they hire to do the project would be tasked with that effort on
Thank
the
you.
administrative side. Anything, and the draft was transmitted to everybody, right? So they got to see it, yeah. So is there a motion here?
I move to approve the letter of support for the Oak Ridge Airport grant.
I'll second that.
All right, a motion made by Counselor Kane, seconded by Counselor Tarman. Any other discussion or questions about the letter? Okay, the motion was to approve the letter endorsing the grant. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Yeah. Who seconded?
That was Counselor Tarman.
Oh, okay. Okay. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, motion passes. Next is business from the city administrator, 11.2, report out of city water service and use. James?
Mayor. All right, last council meeting, I was asked to report back on following issues. How many non-resident, meaning out of city limit water accounts does the city have? That's 21. Second question was, of the non-resident accounts, how many are commercial versus residential? 3 of the 21 non-resident accounts are commercial. And they are the U.S. Forest Service Flat Creek Work Center and 2 accounts with the fish hatchery run by the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. And there's some question whether or not dink should be included there. It's technically, I think we figured out it's technically a residential account because there is a residence there, also a business, so 3.5. Third question is roughly what's our highest percentage capacity to provide water to everyone we serve? So that's going to fluctuate based on the time of year. Public Works Supervisor Robert Chrisman is going to be his best guess, but we did mention that if we wanted to get an exact number, it would require a full hydraulic study of our aquifer storage capacity, et cetera, with price tag. But his best guess from his experience is that between October and April, the least amount of water is being used for about 30% of our full capacity. May to July, around 60 to 70%. And in August and September, when it's popped, using the most water, we can get up to 80 to 90% capacity. But again, these are only estimates, not exact science.
And we have an extra 300 gallons per minute now.
On one well.
Any questions of James on the, please?
Yeah, I was wondering, James, did we do a study when we put the newest storage tank up behind on the Dunning Road area? Do you think a study was done with on our system at that time? Or do you recognize?
That was before, that would have been right before my time. The work study's done, but I don't know that you would get to the numbers that you're looking for here.
Okay, I was just curious. I think that Councilor Carmen was the one that was interested in this. There could be something at City Hall to look for.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know. And also, what was the other question? Oh, as far as capacity goes, so I remember a year when we were predicted to be low on capacity during a hot summer. And we had to put restrictions in town on watering lawns and such. But my question is, isn't there always, like, the storage tanks are full of water and then they're constantly being drained to go into the system and also constantly being refilled? Isn't that true? Or when someone says that we are at 80 or 90% capacity, do they mean that we're drawn down on those storage units? You know, we only have like 10% left in there.
So the question was about the aquifer, and your
Oh.
question is about the reservoir. So they're two entirely different parts.
Okay, so
So-
questions on the aquifer, so can you help me understand what that means? What's
The
that?
aquifers under the ground,
Okay,
what we draw out of, and the reservoir is what we store the water in. For the system.
And essentially what they do is the hydrologist comes in and they measure levels of the aquifer. They have the ability to do that, and they measure them over time, so they know whether it's increasing, decreasing, or staying the same. And so that's kind of how they determine, are you in danger? Are you reducing your supply of water?
okay, then disregard everything I said, I was confused. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. James, next is 11.3. That's the LOC comprehensive recommendations addressing severe addiction crisis and community harm.
All right, so Judy Hammond mentioned it earlier today. These 11 recommendations, which actually Chief Martin come up with some of these positions with the on the board of the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police. There are 11 recommendations here. I think they're all pretty good. The LOC has asked cities to promote these ideas, support these ideas, a number of ways. Basically kind of reaching out to our legislators who are already on board, but it's kind of preaching to the choir there, but basically wanted to get direction from council if support all of these ideas and whether or not I'd be allowed to voice that worth an opinion to legislators and where else that LLC directs us to.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move to support the comprehensive recommendations addressing severe addiction, crisis, and community harm, and direct CA to voice the city support to our legislators.
I hear a second.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any discussion or questions of James on this? Please.
One of the questions that I had, and I know this is all contingent on funding, but these policies, the way that they're going to be implemented, is this like is this more on a county level, or are we going to, is there also money that's going to be freed up as a possibility to have in city resources?
Well, that's a very good question, and so this initiative would be on the state level. But I have the same questions. I mean, there's some great ideas here, like having this opioid overdose quick response team. That's great, but it's probably not going to be an outreach.
They're all unfunded.
Yeah.
Right, they're all unfunded, and then when they do get funded, it's probably going to be city by city and make it the cities pay for it. Obviously, we can't afford to hire 2 staff members at a time for medical. We won't be able to afford it, but maybe there will be some state funding, and that will certainly be something that I will mention when supporting these initiatives. What about small towns? What about small?
Yeah, I really see these policies as being a great possible thing, but it's not going to do any good if it's only implemented in big cities, because we are hit really hard and all the big city people come here. But yeah, I would definitely want to know if the small cities are going to be included in any of those policy proposals.
Well, they certainly will be on the major overarching initiatives, which is turning possession of drugs, certain drugs, back into a crime. However, they're held in abeyance if the person completes treatment, crime will go away.
Yeah.
Be on the record, which I support that idea. So those things will affect everyone, state, but yeah, some of these programs are saying, where's the money?
Councilor Kenyon.
I have the same concerns on money and on implementing laws without a plan for enforcing them. I mean, particularly when this trickles down to cities and towns and everything, not just Portland. But I mean, the idea is great. However, I mean, the idea of kind of reversing the law on getting away with having so much drugs or selling or all those things, making them lighter crimes, I thought was ridiculous. But my biggest concern is I wonder if you know if the part about offering someone rehab to get rid of the crime on their record, is that something that this program is insinuating they would pay for? Like the state or the taxpayers would be paying for drug addicts to go through rehab and get rid of their crimes?
It does not say.
Maybe Chief Martin has insight on that.
So I would absolutely not support it if that was the case.
Chief, anything to comment on that?
Could you repeat the question? I was talking to one of the officers that just came in the office.
Oh, sure. The question is on the part where they're wanting to offer rehabilitation to a convicted, drug criminal. And then that would get rid of their crime off of their record after completing rehab. Is that something that's being offered at the rehab is at the cost of the taxpayer in this program, or that it would actually fall on the criminal to pay for their own rehabilitation?
Well, I can only speak to my opinion. My assumption is that yes, it will be on the taxpayer's dime because there is something similar now. But most of the stuff that the Sheriff's Association, the Chiefs Association, and the League of Oregon Cities has been working on is more to, in my opinion, put some pressure on the legislators just to try to fix the problem that's broken with making all the hard drugs just a violation. So if they use some of it, it will give us some of our toolbox back to actually make arrests. But as far as the rehab stuff, I'm sure that'll all have to be hashed out, but most likely that comes from the taxpayer, in my opinion.
Any other questions? James, how do you intend to give this input verbally, by letter?
Well, so far the LLC is, they haven't asked for specific letters. They've asked us to reach out to our legislators. Legislators are already on board with this. But they basically said, stay tuned, and there will be opportunities, such as, speaking at committee meetings and saying.
Yeah, I know a lot of times they hand a template out that you can just kind of fill in, but.
Are you able to speak on behalf of the ruling that prevents our officers, I don't know how to say this, but to remove the unhoused from camping on public property?
Well, that's an answer federal.
Is that something though that can come up? I just think that has been such a big topic all over the state, not just Oak Ridge, but it's really hit rural communities a lot harder than, I mean, actually it's hit big cities really hard too, but it's just, we don't have anything to.
I can answer part of that. So the Ninth Court of Appeals, their decision, the only way that can be rectified is to go to the US Supreme Court. So, and I believe Boise has already started that process. That's where this all began, is in the city of Boise, Idaho. And I know Grants Pass, Oregon also had some stuff that they are, I believe, I don't know if they're trying to appeal it or not, but there is some cities that are trying to appeal it.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Okay.
Just real quick, I just wondered if that issue that you just brought up is part of this recommendation. Or, I mean, isn't this all about drug addiction?
That's what I was asking. I was asking if that is a part of what.
No, because not all homeless folks are drug addicts, especially with, now that there's no longer moratorium on rent payments, people are getting kicked out, they didn't have to pay their rent, during COVID, now they do, and, you know, non-drug addicted people are getting evicted. You know, student loan payments are due again, people can't necessarily afford those, that, some people are paid paycheck to paycheck. We're gonna see more homeless folks across the country. They're not all drug addicts, so I think it's a separate issue.
Agreed.
It's definitely disconnected, but I think they didn't want to address it because that would be a huge can of worms that might
Mhm.
stop this.
Councilor Burr.
With this, these new laws possibly going back into effect or going into effect, we're gonna see an influx in arrests. Do we have any type of, backing with the DA actually prosecuting these criminals? Or is that something that we're gonna still have more arrests, but the same issue? That's the only issue that I'm concerned about.
We've definitely seen an increase in prosecutions from Oak Ridge cases, we're very happy about. But, you know, a lot of that's gonna be funding dependent county to county. You know, sometimes. Full-time as a police officer, we get a no file letter, say based on resources. Can't afford to prosecute. We haven't seen a lot of those lately, but that is a possibility.
I know when we sat down with the DA, with James and I and Chief Martin, when DA Perlow sort of put a moratorium on prosecutions, they were understaffed. They just didn't have any lawyers.
Yeah.
And now apparently they're a lot more healthy than they were. So that's why you're seeing some of this, as well as, you know, other reasons. Okay. Any other questions? Councilor Kenyon?
I'm just wondering if it's possible for you to express that's, you know, at least on my part, you know, the part about financing and rehabilitation is not of interest to me. I would assume that.
Well, do you want to amend the motion, or just because, you know, it should be just you sticking in the comment, as a council, we need to get together, agree with that.
I guess so. Then can we just ask a question for consensus from the council if they agree with that or not?
Yeah, if we can put it in the right words.
Maybe as a.
Just, I mean, I want to,
motion?
well, not necessarily, I just want to know what you meant about, what you meant about no impact to the taxpayers, is that kind of what you're thinking? Or is it something else?
Not overall. I understand that this whole entire program is funded by the taxpayers, and a lot of it is great. I just think that I feel persons addicted to drugs, they commit crimes, they're hurting people, and they're going to be able to get out of having those crimes on the record at the cost of the taxpayer to rehabilitate them. It's like, go ahead and have a free-for-all. I mean, I might as well just start getting on drugs and breaking the law and getting it all away. You know what I mean? Like, that is dumb.
But maybe we could just voice that we're opposed to unfunded mandates.
So they emphasize our concerns for how things are funded and that.
Specifically, the rehabilitation is what I'm getting at. Specifically, rehabilitating is how I feel. At the cost of the taxpayer.
Are there any counselors opposed to that idea? So you don't really have consensus, because I don't really want to monkey with, they put a lot of work into this. I'm not sure that.
Okay.
And I'm sure that discussion is going to come up at the legislature, who's really going to own this baby.
I understand general consensus.
It's fine.
One quick suggestion from the chief.
Sure.
I would implore any of you to attend some of those legislative sessions and give your opinions as city councilors. That would actually be awesome. So, so Councilor Kenyon, I'm sure you could give your opinion on that. And it's really easy to do that now because there's online ways to do it. So if the council could go forth and give your opinions on that, I think it'd be really cool.
Just remember that preamble about.
Right. It's my opinion, not the
That's right.
opinion of the city of Oak
Yeah,
Ridge.
yeah. Okay, any other discussion before we go to the vote? The motion was to move to support the comprehensive recommendations addressing severe addiction crisis and community harm and direct the CA to voice the city's support to our legislators. Jackie?
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Nay.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-1. Moving on, 11.4, that's the Union Pacific Railroad issues update, James.
Mayor, so council will recall, in November, you asked me to have our city attorney write a letter to Union Pacific Railroad asking them for their policies and procedures for idling training. That was a good idea from the Parks Committee, Councilor Carmen, because we got a response immediately. They sent down a very nice gentleman, Mr. Aaron Hunt from Union Pacific. We had a great sit-down meeting. Soon after, the locomotives stopped being staged in town. They're doing that outside of town. So our area is cleaner. They did want me to stress that there will be some occasions, like during snowstorms, et cetera, where they may need to stage. But rarely, so for a couple hours, but not all day. So yeah, very positive meeting. I want to thank Councilor Time for work on this issue. Yeah, it's been quiet.
Any idea where the locomotives are hanging out now?
I don't know.
I was wondering too. Like, how far did they have to go down?
It'll be by somebody's house.
He did, I remember in the meeting, he was supposed to send us a phone number or email or something, a way to report like if any of the citizens had issues. Did he ever send that?
He hasn't done that yet. But there are a couple other issues.
Those guys out of Portland? Were they
Yes.
from Omaha? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the sub office.
Yep. All right, any questions, more questions about the locomotive? That's great, great news, and thank you. Councilor Tarman and James and the city attorney, please. 11.5 is other city business updates, James.
All right, but 4 pretty quick issues. Wanted to update council on the offer for OMP lot 22. Council had me submit a counter offer. That the counter offer was declined, and the buyers are no longer interested. We have the Governor's Regional Solutions team is coming to Oak Ridge on February 13th. The exact time is to be determined, but it'll be kind of a most of the day. Very similar to what we just went through with Lake County Economic Development. Very well. So I believe the mayor's going to just.
Well, that's something we're gonna get to. I just found out I will not be in the country on that day. So I'd like to ask you, the council president, if she's able, or another counselor to attend in my stead.
What is
The
the,
13th, it's an all-day thing with the Regional Solutions, Business Oregon, Lane County, congressional types. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal because they're coming from all over to visit Oak Ridge and get our desires and priorities.
So it would be here in Oak
They're
Ridge?
coming to us, yeah. Probably the OIP office.
Let me look at my,
We can take up.
oh, Saturday?
No, it's a Tuesday.
February 13th.
Oh, February. Okay, sorry.
So we get up to 3 counselors.
I would be happy to go.
I think I can arrange for that, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Would that be something to warrant, like some information from you beforehand?
James could probably do a better job.
Yes, I'm going to be asking ODAC to help again, because they did a great job.
Yeah,
doing the
they
same
did.
thing for the county level.
Yep.
We're going to use a lot of the same stuff.
Okay. So we have opportunities for three counselors.
Yes, all opinion.
Anyone else want to go?
I would, if there's an extra spot or if it opens up, I'd like to go since I missed the last one.
Sounds like there is right now, but, okay. There you go.
But we can only have 3, right?
That's okay. If I am not able to come, that's okay. If it opens up, I'll be glad to attend.
Something. Norton or.
Counselor Coker or Bjornson, do you have a desire to go on the 13th of February?
I have to work, unfortunately.
Okay,
What was the times again?
most of the day, yeah.
I have to work as well, but I can try.
Okay, thank you though.
You're welcome.
All right, so we got your 3 names, James.
Yep, and so that's that. 2 more quick items. We have 12 committee seats that have expired at the end of 2023. Normally, when someone gets on a committee the first time, they have to appear in person. I'm thinking, if I recall, when we've had someone be reappointed, we did not require that. There's nothing in the council rules requiring someone, a reappointed person to come. So I was hoping that the next council meeting, I can simply give you a list of folks who do want to stay on their committees. So far, I've heard from about half of them. Most people want to stay on, there's a couple that don't. So I was hoping I could just give you a list, because they've already been vetted. The council. That's appropriate.
Counselor Hahn, go ahead.
I think what I remember happening is we did that one time. And then the next time it came up for another person, and we agreed that we weren't going to do that again, that we were going to make people appear.
I remember that happened for someone trying to get on.
No, it was
Oh,
a
was it a
renewal
renewal?
person, yeah, and we did it the first time for one person, and then we were going to do it, and there was some people opposed to it, so. I believe we decided not to do that in the future to stay
Does
consistent.
anyone still feel that way? I don't see the issue if they've already been a member of the committee, why they wouldn't be able to continue their service. But
Well, I think one of the reasons was in case there was someone else that wanted to apply for that seat was one reason. Whatever it is, I think we need to be consistent and flip flop back and forth every time.
another change to the council rules of procedure, I guess.
Isn't the rules that somebody has to appear to apply for a
I
committee
don't
seat?
know. James.
On the council rules of procedure, it's silent on, it doesn't say that you have to show up at all, but we passed some motion at some point.
There's somewhere that says.
I can read them to you, as appointments of members of boards, commissions, and committees. Unless otherwise mandated by law, the mayor shall appoint and remove members of any board commission authorized by council, provided all appointments rules require board voting votes from the council.
Oh.
Yeah, there's nothing about them having to be promised. But
Well, we have made people do it in the past. Many times we've made people be here in person, so we can't flip. Councilor Bjornson's raising her hand too. I can't remember who it is, but if I looked back, I know there was a couple occasions that we required people to be here in person.
Councilor Johnson, do you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering regarding renewing seats, are we advertising those and opening them up to other applications, or are we just allowing them to be automatically renewed?
We have had open enrollment the entire time. It's on our website in multiple places. I just updated the list of seats that are open, and yeah, that letter that shows the open seats has been up for 2 years, and I update it every few months.
Councilor Kenyon?
I think I remember what Councilor Holland is referring to, and I agree they should be in person, but I don't necessarily think it's necessary to go through the whole fill out the big packet and have it presented. I think that if we have a simple, even an online form or a simple single page, I'd like to renew my seat. I'm willing to, I'd like to be able to question them and maybe if they're willing to agree that they're up for another 3-year term, because it's not just like.
So you would like new applications as well?
I think as a summarized renewal application should be created and not go through the. Big
Could I
application.
use, the big application is 1 page.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Could
No,
you
I
just
thought-
use their prior application and just say, hey, this person wants to renew?
True.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking, like right now, for some reason, the library board is very popular, and if somebody's 3-year term came up and then somebody else that really had a burning desire to be on it, I think that other person should get an opportunity. We should have the opportunity to allow 2 people to interview.
But then you're gonna
for
be comparing
positions.
someone that has no application. Someone that actually.
No, they would be using their prior application that they used last time they applied with, if they so choose to, they could, the person renewing could put in a new application. All I'm saying is that we're giving, if that seat has expired, we're giving someone else an opportunity to plead their interest to us.
That's okay.
I'd also like to point out that one of the reasons why I was in favor of the in-person part was because there was a time in the city of Oak Ridge where a person remained on a committee for over 13 years without ever coming back to council for the president renewal. And I felt that was not in the
Is council
the
comfortable if
purview of what the city wanted, whatever you want to call it.
council be comfortable if I push this back 1 additional meeting, so it'll be the first meeting in February? That's more time to let everybody know that they will need to come in and that they can supplement their old application if they want to. And it would also give newcomers time to apply.
Or are you asking if it's okay to let them stay in their seat until they've had an opportunity to come here and apply?
No, I'm saying rather than bring the 12 renewals to council at the next meeting on January 18th, to bring it to the first meeting in February, that would give new people time to apply.
Mhm.
And it would give the renewal folks time to supplement their applications.
I think that's fair.
I think so too. Would you also make sure to advertise for those open seats as well, if, yeah.
How did they understand that their seat was expiring? Did we tell them in enough in advance or?
I told them, started 2 days ago.
Understand? Okay,
Thank you, James.
No problem.
all
I
right.
love creating more work for myself.
I'm sorry.
Anything more on city business updates, James?
Yes, one more thing, in regards to the policy for fee waivers, where I'm allowed to waive fees for renting city property. Just have a question, because it allows me to waive fees up to 3 of them for organizations and or groups that are non-discriminatory, et cetera. And then further down, it says the applying organization must be nonprofit or not-for-profit organization, partner, or group. What if it is one person? Because I've been approached by an individual who would like to put on a free clothing exchange for the entire community. So people can come in, donate clothes, and then everyone could swap for free. But I wasn't sure if an individual could be considered a group of one, like the royal we. I just want to make sure I'm interpreting this policy directive from council. So are we liberally, I say, yeah, you could be a group of one. I could waive the fees. But I wanted to see what council's direction on that. Individuals.
I think it's actually a really good idea that we might have, personally, in my opinion, overlooked that word a little bit, because, for instance, if someone is putting something together on their own for the community, you know, I think it would be important to include them in that group. As in, we, I think.
I'm not involved in it, but I do think it has actually a group of women that are putting it together, isn't it? It's like Carolyn.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is kind of a group of people.
She replied to me saying it was just herself,
Oh,
but I'm sure she's gonna have help.
yeah, I know she does have helpers, so I guess I look at it as it's herself filling out the application, but it's actually. Like, I think it's a fair question.
I would say the council deferred this all to you, so let's give you as much
Okay,
leeway as you need.
I'm gonna interpret it that individual be a group. Thank
I
you.
think so.
That's all I had, except to mention this, item 11.6, that there's a really kind of cool video made by a high school student out of Arkansas about, Maximo Yates. Posted that on our website, and that's our Medal of Honor winner. For Sergeant Maximo Yates. Check it out. I sent the video electronically too.
Mhm. It was well done. All right, on to item 12, which is items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. 13 ordinances and resolutions, there are none. 14 public hearings, there are none. So department staff report, committee, commission reports. So these are the reports from November, right? Is that one?
Correct.
For all the, and then normally done are the committees. So we're going to listen to the staff first if they have anything, and then we'll move into the committee debriefs. Starting with 15.1, and Colleen, that's the finance report. Any comments on the finance report, or does anyone have questions of Colleen?
Comments on the finance report, I do want to let you know though that the auditor did file an extension for our auditor. She lost a few employees. And then had some family issues, so. We have an extension to the end of February.
See, think that she'll get it to us by then or before then, or? Okay. Any questions of Colleen on this? Okay, please.
On the software, the cell that was gonna get put in last year, that's still not done? New software?
No. It is. Cell phones. And then sending data like. We're just.
Is there any particular, like reason why it's taken so long?
Have
No.
have we sent everybody to training? Don't they go to a training?
We have not done the training.
Okay.
We
Yes,
have
sir.
room for them to. A little bit of both.
Sure.
Travel here online.
Councilor Holland, do you have a question?
Wasn't it kind of a module thing where it's one step at a time? It's not like the whole system, bam.
Correct, so now we're almost to the point where we're gonna start. Pushing through.
Yeah. It was like a
It's quite a
transition.
process, and I've actually reached out to them, I was getting a little bit frustrated. I got a little bit snappy a little bit a while ago, and I got a response that they are like really. The lady who's working with us is working with like 50 other cities at the same time. So. It's just the way, it's just that they're busy.
Colleen, on that note, El Rapa just went through the transition. So if you want to reach out to them, and they can probably are experiencing a lot of the pain that you're experiencing. So I don't know, are you in touch with, they just hired a contractor, Jenny? Yeah. So I'm sure you can reach out to her or Susanna, and they can help you out if you're experiencing bumps in the road.
Okay.
Anything else for Colleen? Okay. 15.2 is the police report. Chief, you still up?
Yes, sir. Mayor, council, and citizens, this is, first of all, happy new year to everybody from the police department. So I'm giving you the report for November 23, the month of November. We had 22 case reports, 209 incident reports, 7 arrests, and 1873 violation. We had 21 case reports in Oak Ridge, which resulted in 189 incidents with 21 case reports. We had 9 incident reports in Westford, the 1 case report with 7 contract hours. Lowell, we had no case reports, 11 incidents, and 36 contract hours. Oak Ridge Municipal Court, we had $13,539 in fine, roll 0, and Lane County Circuit Court was 1,770. And that's my report. If there's any questions.
Any questions of Chief Martin?
I have a quick question, Chief, on that number that you just reported for the municipal court. Is that the number of cases that went through in that 1 month and the dollar amount that's associated with those cases?
So not necessarily cases, that's the dollar amount for citations.
Oh.
Because some citations don't generate cases, like traffic citations, it's just the citation, there's no case with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
If you want me, James, do you want me to talk about the traffic cameras real quick, because that came up?
Yeah.
So I've reached out to ODOT and some private companies on getting some quotes on that. So my first step was to get ODOT to give me the process, being it's on a state highway. So I'm just kind of waiting on ODOT, and that's for the possible stoplight camera, possible photo radar program, if we could start that. James said some counselors had asked, so we sort of do some work on that to see what the process will be, and kind of waiting on ODOT now.
That's a verb.
I'm sorry, I have one more question. Chief, I have to go back to the report really quick. I'm sorry. The Oak Ridge municipal fines, that's amount of fines given, not funds received, right?
Yes, that's the amount the officers write.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
All right, moving on to 15.3, that's fire EMS report. Chief Follett, are you up?
Here. Just a quick update on our stats. They're not in your packet. They weren't available at the time they were sent out, but we did have 77 calls for service. 68 of those were EMS calls, which resulted in 32 transports. I don't really have anything else to add other than we'll be doing a year-end report, and that should be in your next packet. Anybody have any questions?
Question to Chief Follett? No? Line. Thanks, Chief. I'm sorry, your wife has a question.
What was the final tally for calls for the year?
1,099.
All right. Moving on to 15.4, that's the Public Works report. Robert, are you online? Or is that you, Rick? Sorry.
So for Public Works, the November water distributed was 17.4 million gallons. Wastewater treated was 9.9 million gallons, 30 service orders, 7 locates. 0 wastewater repairs, 1 water leak, a service line on the line way, and other tasks. Removed broken hydrant base in installation. Installed new hydrant, new used hydrant on the corner of Clone and Hanson. Repaired hydrant next to Oak Ridge Inn. They're currently building another used hydrant to place back on Taylor Road. Potholing, street sweeping, red water meters, dealt with delinquent counts. Made ready for winter. Plow and sanding unit, park maintenance and leaf removal, and equipment and vehicle maintenance for the month of November.
Any questions of Rick? Councilor Kenyon?
I wonder if you can give an update on what's going on Kokanee.
On Kokanee, we are trying to put in the water lines this time, but there's always other things that have to come up as well, because do that takes up most of the crew when they're trenching. So the only time they're really able to make a good progress is when everybody else has nothing else to do, which is not very often.
But we have broken ground.
You have some of the ground, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that
No,
includes
that's what you were referring to. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed they were
Yeah,
there
yeah,
like
yeah.
one day and then.
Right. They haven't happened more than one day, but not a whole lot more than one day, but they are looking at it as they can.
and that includes the fiber conduit as well.
And includes fiber conduit values.
I was just gonna mention also, The hydrant flushing will be occurring this month. There's a notice going out on all the water bills, also posted online. It may cause some sediment to your people's pipes.
And it's weather dependent as well, so it's low freezing, there will be no pipe flushing because that will, of course, make for slippery situations.
And if I read correctly, you also might see some guys wandering around in utility vets from Hunter and also from Lane Electric. Is that,
Yes, they've been in our neighborhood for quite a while.
they just hit my house today. So.
Okay, yeah, and there's also driving around taking pictures. So if you see anybody with the Texas plates, taking pictures in your neighborhood, it is, they are working for Hunter Communications and to, assess the poles for putting fiber optics on the poles throughout the bridge.
It's like everywhere.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that is a
Yeah,
big
it could be a
deal.
game changer because Spectrum and then the other competitors usually offer, I'm trying to make it's fast downloads and slow uploads, but then for Hunter, it's both.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Huge.
I work from home.
Yep.
We need fast upload.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Moving on to committees. So this will be Parks and Community Services Committee. Is that you? That's Rick. Okay.
I wasn't there.
Okay, so I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So for, this was, we're back to December now, so, thank you, discussed the Park Community Services Committee. We had, pump track updates. We tied that into Salmon Creek Trestle Bridge, the Flume Trail, and the OIP Pond Trail, so basically. We're trying to tie all the trail work on the east side of town together to make kind of a, give a little more synergy. There was some Greenwater Parks review and update and evaluate. That's been some work that's been going on. Thanks to some of our wonderful committee members trying to evaluate the where the park is really getting used the most, and that is the finding out that is the community garden. We had DLC grant updates, and the new business I showed a city online map project that I'm working on, which also benefits the planning commission at this time. After I get all the kinks worked out of that, that will be an online map available on our website to anybody in the public.
Great. Any questions, Rick, on the Parks and Community Services? Councilor Kenyon?
Yeah, can you share with us what the pump track updates are?
We're just talking about what is going on, trying to find funding for the geotech report, just trying to work through what's going on there. We have a lot of stumblings on that one because of the costs. Trying to put that together. We're confident that the group, if we get the pieces together, we can put something that is a feasibility study as requested, and that's what we're working on. Some of our committee members are really putting a lot of work into this. Standing in the back watching them because I don't want to slow them down. But at the moment, they're working with Lane County Sports Tourism, trying to get things going that way.
All right. Any questions? 15.6, that's the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Coker, did you guys meet in December?
Sorry, Mayor, I should have omitted this one because the Public Safety Committee did not meet in December. It was on Boxing Day there.
Question answered. 15.7, Charter Review Subcommittee, Councilor Kenyon.
Charter review also did not meet in December.
Okay. 15, yeah.
Right.
15.8, that's ODEC. James?
ODAC, really want to thank the members of this committee. They did a lot of work on the economic summit planning meeting with Lane County. I just want to share with council that feedback we got from the Lane County team was that we were hands down the best and most prepared city they had visited. So all that work was noticed, and we've already had them helping us a couple of grants. Very fruitful already. ODAC also reviewed the revised offer on the 2 next week.
Any questions of James on that? Okay, moving on to 15.9, that's the admin committee, Counselor Kenyon.
Committee also did not meet in December.
Okay. 15.10, that's the library board. Okay.
Next week.
15.11, the planning commission, Rick.
So, planning commission, had a work session in December. Wrong work session. Excuse me, some of the things we went over is we addressed, where we access our data as a group on Google Drive. We did some comprehensive planning review, again, the online map review. With that map, we went over the existing utilities. We brought in Robert Fishman from Public Works to discuss with us what to look out for and what to look for in regards to the existing utilities as we contemplate increasing our density in certain parts of Oak Ridge in order to accommodate the legislation changes that are coming by the end of the year. With that being said, next step for me is with those recommendations. We're identifying tax lots that are good. The services at those lots are good enough to increase the density, greatly increase the density. Because for increased density, the whole town can increase thanks to legislation. So the next steps are to we'll revisit that map as we go over and over again. We're going to do the same idea. Next couple of planning commission work sessions, we're inviting public safety. After that, we will invite other groups for hazard mitigations. Some of the things we'll consider there is like the floodplain zone. We reviewed some of the recent legislation actions like House Bill 3395, House Bill 2984, 3197, and 2001. Those are the House bills that have happened recently that we will have to respond to, and thankfully we're not going to have to respond to those alone. Those are incorporated into the DLC grant. They are going to assist us hugely with that, and with the work we're doing with our own, I think we're going to come up with a really good work product as far as identifying where in Oak Ridge the best place to go by Oak Ridge. My decision is made in Oak Ridge. We also reviewed the statewide planning goals. It's one of the things I've been going over with the planning commission is just to identify what the statewide planning goals are. There's 19 of them. For the last meeting, we went over goals 5 through 10. Reason being is when we start working on these House bills, we need to align with the state planning goals. I just want to make everybody aware of those work. So, and then we updated on the TGM grant and where that is and how it's going. Everything is signed. I was kind of in waiting mode because we're renewal. And I'm on vacation, and when she gets back, we're gonna get it down on hopefully.
Good. Any questions on planning? Okay, thanks, Rick. 15.12 is the WAC funding committee. It was canceled because there was no one around between Christmas and New Year's. 15.13 is the Oak Ridge Westford Chamber of Commerce monthly newsletter. Didn't we do that last time?
This was their December newsletter, so this is a new one.
Okay.
That added. I just want to again thank them for their help with the awards. General updates. They're promoting the First Flag Art Walk, which is tomorrow, 5 to 7. They've also got some new board members coming on board, and there are other events that they're sponsoring listed in the newsletter.
Thank you. On to 16, other business. Any other business, James? Okay. All right, 17, that's public comment. Anyone on the Zoom have public comment? Anyone in the room have public comment? Okay. That brings us to adjournment. Anyone want to make a motion?
I so moved.
All right, meeting's adjourned at 7:39. Thank you, everybody.